Hello everyone, I'm Martin, the super hyper polyglot with thousands of years of experience, and today in this video I'd like to explain you how to learn Chinese in just 2 seconds fluently. Yeah, I know, you are really surprised to hear that, and for that reason in this video I'm going to explain all of the situation and all of that I had to do. And if you want to know even more, just buy my courses, everything in the description below. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Martin, and today I'd like to discuss one very popular and important topic on YouTube. Of course, the hyperpolyglots and polyglot. So I'd like to discuss the meaning of polyglot, the differences between polyglot and a linguistic person, and so much more. There are so many people on YouTube and on internet who consider themselves polyglots, including me actually, because my YouTube channel is Martin Polyglot. And for that reason, I'd like to clarify this meaning, and of course, I'd like to give some facts. And in addition, I'd like to share with you my true situation, my honest level on each of the languages which I'm learning. So let's get started with the video. So what's a polyglot? Many people think that polyglot is a person who speaks many languages, and that's true, of course. But the difference between knowing a lot of languages and just, for example, memorizing a lot of words, I think there is a huge difference between that. So I'm not really in depth with this topic, and for that reason I'd like to read some comments which according to me really nail the definition of a polyglot. So someone knowing at least 4 languages at the B2 level in all categories. The level should be established by a professional, not self-diagnosed except to native language. Too many people say they are fluent, but can barely form one sentence, which shows a lot of disrespect to people who actually put in their effort in learning the language. So B2 level is the level before C1, the really fluent level. But for me personally, if someone speaks a language at the B2 level, it's definitely good to say that he speaks it. So the level of fluency is a really objective question, and you cannot exactly catch the actual level of someone's language abilities. But I think if someone speaks at a really good level, just can communicate without any problem with a lot of people about a lot of topics, and this level in B2, this is a level exactly between the C1, the really fluent level, the native level. I definitely can't say that he speaks that language. Another clear explanation is, more specifically, bilingual and trilingual people are those in comparable situation involving 2 or 3 languages respectively. A multilingual person is generally referred to as a polyglot, a term that may also refer to people who learn multiple languages as a hobby. So this is really accurate explanation, and lots of people, I think, just consider as a hobby this phrase, just to memorize a few words, a few sentences, and to automatically become a polyglot or hyperpolyglot. For me personally, if someone, for example, learns more than 5 languages, let's say, but seriously learns, it's a polyglot, because he puts a lot of effort to that, and I think it's just a matter of time he or she to become fluent. 你好，我叫 Martin， 我会说汉语 doesn't mean you're a Chinese speaker. It means you have memorized the phrase or a few more, and makes people think that you actually speak really well Chinese, because I'm pretty sure that by saying this phrase, a lot of people would say, wow, your Chinese is so good, your Chinese is fluent, and so forth. And I think a lot of those polyglots, hyperpolyglots and polyglots, know how to use that and use it really successfully. So let's clarify a bit this point. A polyglot is a person who speaks 4 or more languages at a high conversational level, in this case at least B2, and is learning even more languages, but is learning in depth them, not just memorizing a few phrases like 你好，我叫 Martin, and I speak fluent Chinese. Let's be honest, language learning takes a lot of time, and if someone says that he speaks really well Portuguese, Spanish, Hindi, Chinese, Japanese, or whatsoever in just 3 months, no, it's not true, because in just 3 months, I think it could grasp a little some conversational level, but really low conversational level if he or she has got a lot of practice. And definitely 3 months of learning can give you a really basic level, but definitely won't give you the mastering of the language. I admit that I was also influenced by those type of videos, and I was really believing that by learning a language in just 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or just 5 months, I will master this language really well, no matter the errors that I make. And yeah, until I face the truth. And the truth is that, yeah, I got some conversation level, but I was really far from mastering this language, for speaking it at a B2 level. And for that reason, that is really not true. You've got to spend maybe a considerable amount of time, like I said, in just 3 months, maybe 4+ hours of learning the language, in order to say that you've got really conversational abilities. And for that reason, I say that I'm still learning the language, and all of the languages that I have spoken in my videos, I'm learning them, even Spanish and English, which I think I have to be at the best level. I'm still learning because I'm still making lots of errors. Yes, I've got a really huge practice. I have practiced it many times. But I definitely couldn't say that I have mastered them, because, yeah, I really need more time in order to improve them. And I think the language learning is an endless process. And I'd like to give attention to the grammar, because so many people from the hyperpolyglot just says that you don't need the grammar to learn that. Just the grammar is useless. I don't know why it still exists in the foreign language. Well, for me, the grammar is not the most important thing, because if you don't know very well the grammar, you can still manage the situation at a certain degree. But the grammar is the structure of the language. For me, foreign language consists of phrases, grammar, and vocabulary. And each of those steps is a really crucial role. And for me, if you don't know about the grammar, you cannot speak really well the language itself, to be honest. Because the grammar is actually this point that links the vocabulary to sentences and forms all of the sentences that you've got to say to people. I definitely don't say that you've got to be perfect at grammar in order to speak well a language, but I think that you've got to spend some amount of time in order to better know the language. Do you know, my honest opinion about this is that through grammar you could better know the language, its structure, how does it works, and so forth. And I think this is a huge plus. And for that reason, the real polyglots spends a considerable amount of time by learning the language grammar, because it is not only a system, but it's actually better understanding the language, how it works, in order to step to a more advanced level. So to conclude, the grammar is not the most important part in a language, but it plays a pivotal role in your learning progress. And now I'd like to explain a bit about the difference between a polyglot and linguistic, because I have seen a bunch of videos on YouTube where a lot of people just advise don't to use the term polyglot, because this is not a very good term. Of course, this is influenced by the millions of polyglots, the boom of the hyperpolyglots on YouTube, and I completely understand that. But I rather think that this term has nothing to do with all of the situation that is happening right now, because a lot of the people speak very well the languages. They're really true polyglots, but they are legitimate polyglots, and for that reason, I think this term is good and has nothing to do with all of the that arise on YouTube. So the key difference between a linguist and a polyglot lies in their focus and expertise. A linguist studies the scientific aspects of language, including its structure, function, evolution. They may or may not speak multiple languages. On the other hand, a polyglot can speak multiple languages fluently. So, as I have conversed by far, the linguist is actually a person who dives into the history and the functioning of that language without knowing how to use it in a real conversation, like the polyglot. So I think this term is really exaggerated among the polyglot niche, because there's so many people who just advise, don't use polyglot, this is not good. Use rather linguist without having any knowledge about actually what does actually linguist mean. Of course, I'm not any scientist. Maybe it's possible to there is some auto explanation about this research, but I've just read this information and I act according to the presented information from truthful resources. And yeah, I could agree with that because it's logical. For example, if someone speaks Japanese, English, Thai, Hindi, French, English very well without knowing anything about the root of the language or history or so forth, it's actually logical to be a polyglot and not to be a linguistic, because the linguistic actually requires a more scientific researches of the language. And now I'd like to explain a bit my real situation with each of the languages which I'm learning. And of course, my YouTube channel, my team Polyglot, it means that I'm a polyglot. So I'd like to explain it all. So Bulgarian is my native, and English and Spanish are my best foreign languages, which I've learned by far. And I think my honest opinion about my level in both languages is B2, because I can understand a lot of topics, a lot of stuff. I watch TV on English and Spanish. I can make a conversation. I definitely can make a live chat in both languages. Of course, I make some errors, but it's really normal. So I definitely think that that I've got this level of fluency. Although I need more practice and I'm still learning both languages. About Portuguese, Italian, French, German and Russian, I think in all of these languages I've got some level around B1, and my explanation about that is I think I can make a conversation in all of the languages. Of course, it's possible not to understand really well, especially in German, a lot of stuff, but I can definitely understand maybe B1 or some conversation about B2, maybe B1 mostly. But in the other languages, I also watch TV shows, videos and so forth. And the main reason why I don't have B2 is that I lack of practice. I have never, in 19% of those languages, I've never made any conversation with people. And for that reason, I cannot say that I've got B2 without any real experiment. So yeah, and about Hindi and Greek, so I think my level in both languages is also around B1, but it's a bit below B1 because in Hindi, for example, especially Hindi, I really lack of practice. I've never practiced this language with people. In Greek, I've got kind of more practice. I've been studying these two languages in 5 months, for 5 months in Hindi and 6 in Greek. And I definitely, due to the difficulty and the difference in these two languages from English and Spanish, I couldn't understand really well a high level conversation in Greek, C1 conversation in Greek or Hindi. And for that reason, I cannot say that I've got a full B1. Definitely, I need a lot more practice, and for that reason, I have planned the upcoming month to make a review of these two languages in order to try to reach the actually B1 level. And the newest language which I started learning, of course, is Chinese. I definitely can't say that I speak the language because my level is maybe HSK1 in this language. I couldn't understand a lot, and actually many people say that they couldn't understand what I say. I hope my level is really better than 2 months ago, because I started learning Chinese maybe 2 months ago, and for that reason, yeah, I couldn't say anything more about this language. Are not accurate, but for me, they are based on speaking, understanding, writing, and many other factors. So, based on all of that stuff that I've just mentioned, so I could say that I'm a polyglot in process, because I've got 3 solid languages: Bulgarian, Spanish, and English, and maybe in this case could be Portuguese. I've got more conversation opportunity, so I could really reach it really fast to B2, and I'm learning all of the remaining languages seriously. So if you don't trust me, I advise you to go to my channel and see my video about presenting my notebooks in each of the languages in order better to understand about my learning. So yeah, my conclusion about all of that stuff which is happening right now on YouTube and on social media, about all of that hyperpolyglots, polyglots and so forth. is that they use, for example, your surprise, your impressions about them when you hear that they speak in your language, your languages. Actually, they actually use it in order to gain a lot of subscribers, a lot of stuff, and then they just start selling those courses in order to gain more trust. Actually, they do that after having got all of that truth. And yeah, and for me it's really unfair. For example, some hyperpolyglot, mega polyglot who are just memorizing phrases and sells a lot of courses just to have got so many views, so many subscribers, than a real polyglot, a person who really have spent several time, have made so much thought in order to learn a lot of languages. So for me, that thing is really unfair, and for that reason, I really think that this is not correct. And in most occasions, actually, people just get really impressed by someone who has memorized a few phrases and just throws it on the street with some native who says, "Oh, you speak this language, oh my god, you so well speak it." And it's really logical. If you ask me, my answer could be that it's really logical they to get so many views, because people just really get impressed by all of that stuff that happens within 3 or 4 or just 1 minute. Let's say, okay, let's be honest, 1 minute of speaking to memorize that language. And that's all for today. And thank you so much for being here until the end of the video. And if you liked it, don't forget to press the like button, to share with more people, and to subscribe. And see you in the next video. Bye from Martin Hyperpolyglot, who learned Chinese in just a second.